Just a quick introduction. My name's Mark Miles. I work for Trust, and today we've got a special guest, Vanita from Cisco Meraki. So we'll be talking to you guys today and taking this webinar.
Yes.
So I'm with Trust, and we are a managed service provider. So we've been operating for roughly about 20 years, specialising in custom bespoke managed services for businesses. Some of the sectors that we specialise in are digital signage, networks, cloud security, and building management services. So moving on, looking at building management services today. Vanita is going to help us out with that, with a bit of a deep dive into some of the Cisco Meraki products. As we all know, this sort of marketplace can move forward fairly quickly with IoT sensors and cameras and so forth. So looking into this, we're going to pass over to Vanita just now, and she's going to take you through a deep dive into all these products. So
yes.
I will let you take over.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody, to today's session. My name is Vanita Natoewal, and I'm the IoT specialist for Meraki. As most of you know, Meraki started out as a cloud networking company in 2006, and in 2012, it was acquired by Cisco. In 2016, we decided to actually expand into the physical security space. And the reason for it being is because we encountered a theft in our own office. And back then we had a very traditional architecture, a very traditional camera system put into place that did not work as it should have been working. And because that process proved to be so painful, we thought that we are a cloud networking company. Surely we can do this better than anybody else. And surely we can develop something that is more cloud-based. So yeah, that's why we actually, that's our origin story, so to speak. That's why we decided to venture out into the physical security space, and why we decided to develop our own smart cameras and our sensors. And now today we have over 18 years of experience designing scalable and secure cloud architecture solutions. Now, we don't only develop smart cameras and smart sensors, we also develop other types of solutions such as cellular gateways, security and SD-WAN solutions, mobile device management solutions, switches, and of course, wireless, like access points, wireless products like access points. The way how we differentiate ourselves from traditional camera vendors is by the way how we have designed our architecture. So traditional camera vendors, have this type of architecture where you see that the process basically comprises out of multiple hardware components, right? So you have the cameras, you have the storage devices, so the NVRs, the DVRs, you have the video management system, you have the endpoint software, the analytics software, the on-premise service, and the media for exporting the video. And in a traditional architecture, these items are all the things that you would need to complete a certain business process, right? For instance, if you need to dive into some historical footage, or you need to share some footage, you would need all these components to work. But what would happen if one of these components does not work? That would mean that the business would come to a standstill. And this is also what we noticed when we encountered the theft in the office. Our business process came to a standstill. And because of that, we decided, let's develop something that's a little bit more streamlined. So we decided to actually develop cameras where everything sits on the box itself. So this means that the storage capacity sits on the camera itself. So all the raw footage is being stored on the camera itself, and you can build out the storage capacity up to 1 terabyte. Also, the brain sits on the camera itself, where the video is analyzed in real time on the camera. And then also, obviously, the analytical features sit on the camera itself, and all the analytical stuff basically happens on the camera itself. So I'm talking about the motion search feature. I'm talking about the heat maps. I'm talking about any analytical feature that I will show you in the dashboard in a minute. That all those analytical processes all happen on the camera itself. Okay, so nothing happens in the cloud, everything just happens on the device. And it's really easy for anyone to access it. And with anyone, I mean, obviously, the people that are supposed to have access to the devices, right? Because why? Since we're a cloud networking company and this is a cloud-based solution, you would only need the internet to access the dashboard. So we're using a proxy, and then all the data is basically being transmitted. And then you can see easily all the data being reflected in the Meraki dashboard that you can access after you have completed the authentication process successfully. This is what our camera portfolio looks like. What's really good to notice that all of our cameras and sensors, by the way, actually all products within the Cisco Meraki portfolio and of the Cisco portfolio in itself are equipped with a Trust Anchor module chip. And that's basically a chip that highly secures and authenticates that your device is only communicating to your dashboard only. So nobody else has access to your data, not even us, and only you have access to that data after you have successfully completed the authentication method. And we, for instance, use SSO, single sign-on, to access our data. So all of our devices are equipped with the Trust Anchor module chip, and it encrypts all your data, so at rest and in transit. And as you can see, we have our indoor catalog and we have our outdoor catalog. Our outdoor catalog are cameras that you can use both indoors as well as outdoors, because all of these cameras are IP rated and IK rated. They have an IP rating of 67. So this means that they can withstand any kind of weather temperature varying from minus 40 degrees Celsius up to plus 50 degrees Celsius. And they can withstand also a certain amount of impact of, I think it was 5 kilograms. Something like that. So they have an IK rating of 10 plus. So just to give you an example, we have a colleague here in the office, and he's a really good baseball player. We asked him basically to bring his baseball bat and to conduct a test with us where he would use the baseball bat so he could hit, the cameras with it. So he came to the office, brought his baseball bat, and then we asked him like, okay, hit these cameras, please. So he started hitting on these cameras. And just for you guys to know, you know that people in the Netherlands are quite tall, right? So this is a guy who's almost like 2 meters. So you can imagine the impact that he can basically put on the camera. So he really hit these cameras as hard as he could, and these cameras could not be broken. They're so robust that even with the amount of impact that he inflicted on these cameras, they were not broken. So these are really robust cameras in itself. Now, another thing that's really good to note is that all of these cameras, they come with a variety of lenses. So some of them have a fixed lens, some of them have a lens where you can zoom in and zoom out, and some of them have a fisheye lens where you have a 360 overview. Let's go to the sensors, because next to the smart cameras, we obviously also developed our smart sensors. And one of the added values of our sensors is the ease of use, because in the way how you deploy these sensors, it's really easy. So you would only need Bluetooth, and via Bluetooth, they can connect to a gateway, and you can use a Meraki access point or a Meraki camera as a gateway, and then all the data is going to be transmitted to the Meraki dashboard. So it's really easy to deploy. Also, these cameras are these sensors are battery operated, except for these ones that need to be powered constantly. So, it's really easy basically then to install and deploy the sensors and to configure them. And as you can see, each of these sensors comes with their own functionality. So you have the temperature humidity sensor, you have the water leak sensor, you have the door open close sensor that sends out an alert every time a door is being opened. You have the smart power controller that's able to measure the energy consumption of an electronic device. You have the indoor air quality sensor that is able to detect the temperature humidity levels. the ambient noise, the TVOC levels, and the PM2.5 levels, and then also the CO2 levels for the MT15. You have the temperature probe that is normally deployed in freezers, and you have the MT30 sensor where you're able to automate simple tasks. So just to give you an example, we have deployed our MT30 sensor in our coffee break room. And every time the coffee machine is broken, we just hit this button, and then an alert is being sent out to our facility manager. All of these cameras and sensors, basically any type of Meraki product that you would buy, requires an enterprise license. And the good thing about this is that all these features are built within these licenses, so you don't have to do with any add-on expenses. We also have MV-Sense licenses, and MV-Sense licenses would only come in play if you would like to deploy APIs from other third-party vendors. So if you would like to deploy, for instance, an API that will help you to detect footfall traffic in the store, then you can use a third-party solution by our ecosystem partner, for instance. And you can deploy that API then onto our camera and sensors. And then what would happen is that our cameras and sensors are being used as the eyes and ears. And then that data is being fed back into the dashboard of that ecosystem partner or that third-party vendor that you're working with. And then as such, you will be able to put everything into one single framework, one single dashboard, so to speak, and gather more data into footfall traffic within your store, for instance. So for these kinds of circumstances, where you really want to get more detailed analytics and you want to perform more advanced analytics on top of what we already provide to you for free, for those type of things, you would require an MV-Sense license. Now, a cloud archive license is a license that we would highly recommend if you would like to back up your data to the cloud 24/7. We can imagine that sometimes you have to put a camera in a vulnerable place where you are at risk of the camera being stolen. Then you don't have to worry. Because we have the cloud archive licenses that you can apply then to that particular camera, where you can make sure that that data is backed up at all times. Now, what kind of challenges do we solve with our cameras and our sensors? Well, we help automate business processes and operations. We help to reduce complexity within operations. With our dashboard and the analytics that we provide you, we help you to provide data to improve the customer and user experiences. With the cameras and the sensors, we ensure your safety and security in environments, and we help you make your operations more sustainable and help you to reduce cost where you can. And last but not least, we enable the staff to be more productive and efficient. Now, let's talk a little bit about the total cost of ownership. So we've asked first a consulting in London to conduct a research on our behalf among our customers who have deployed our cameras and our sensors. These are the results for the cameras. So our customers noted a 43% increase of their ROI within 3 years with a payback period of just 10 months. So this means that our customers already noted a difference, started saving money after only just 10 months. Why? Because they started saving on maintenance costs. They didn't have to go on site as much anymore because you can just work remotely and you can manage everything from your phone or from the internet if you sat behind your laptop. They didn't spend much time configuring and maintaining and updating the cameras because, again, everything you can schedule and organize through the dashboard. They didn't spend a lot of cost anymore when it comes to storing their video because everything is stored on the camera itself. So the raw footage is being stored on the camera itself. They also didn't spend much time anymore on accessing and share footage. They noted a 98% time savings because we offer a motion search feature that would allow you to actually find that particular footage within a second, and I will show this video to you. I will show this feature to you in a minute when we go over to the dashboard. And last but not least, they noted a 30% reduction of the energy cost. Why? Because you don't need an NVR anymore. You don't need a DVR anymore. You don't need any other hardware equipment anymore, because everything is built into the camera itself. For the sensors, they noted a 175% ROI within the first 12 months. And the reason for it being is because they saved on the installation cost and the maintenance cost. They didn't spend a lot of time anymore configuring, cabling, and integrating the sensors. They also noted a 43% reduction in unplanned downtime, because these sensors are able to send you an alert in real time. So you're able to actually act upon a situation that is currently taking place, instead of coming and acting upon a situation after the fact. So they really noted a huge benefit there. And they also noted a 27% of overall reduction in energy consumption, because they now are able to have clear, visible data in where a lot of, for instance, where a lot of energy goes to and how they can save in that regard. And they noted also then a reduction in loss of assets of 35%. And the reason for it being is because, again, if something happens, an alert is being sent to you immediately, and you have then the means to actually spring into action right away. When we're talking about case studies, I think this is one of the case studies that I think is interesting. So WPP focuses on communications, PR, and it's basically a company a very well-known company when it comes to communications and public relations. And what they wanted is basically they wanted to incorporate sensors. The reason for it being is because they wanted to be able to tell which parts of the buildings were being used and how they could actually optimize their spaces. So what did they actually note? They noted a 44% reduction in cooling energy for its data center because with the sensors, they were able to closely monitor the situation. And because of that, they were able to reduce their energy emissions by 60%. So that's a huge, huge accomplishment. Then we have Sir Luckius Museums in Finland, which is a museum, and one of their goals was basically to save energy and reduce travel. Right, so they started implementing the MV cameras. And our MV cameras, they use a significant amount less energy than their legacy cameras. They used only 33% less energy than their legacy cameras. And they noted that the MV cameras are more durable. Basically what they noted is that they wanted to observe their own environments and take care of the cultural heritage work that they do over there. And now with our cameras, they were able to, keep an eye on the museum area, and in the areas within the museum. And it allowed them also to troubleshoot remotely and not to come on site as much anymore, what they needed to do before when they had their legacy cameras in place. And then we have Wrexham County Borough Council, who manages 70 schools. And they actually focused on our Meraki sensors. The reason for it being is because they wanted to optimize the energy usage across the school estate. So they accomplished 22,000 in cost reductions for the fiscal year, where the Meraki sensors help them monitor the environment. And based on that, they expect also an annual reduction of 10 metric tons of CO2 levels. And as we all know, there is a council commitment now to be net zero by 2030, and they expect to achieve that also with the help of our sensors that they have put into place now. Now, these are a couple of case studies and use cases that I've described to you. Let's go over to the demo, because I can imagine that a lot of you are also interested to see the Meraki dashboard in action. So this is our Meraki dashboard. I hope that you can all see it. So this is our Meraki dashboard. Just to give an idea, if I actually want to access the Meraki dashboard, you would have to log in via single sign-on, which I have completed now successfully. And then, as you can see, we're actually managing over 4.8 million networks worldwide. So that's a huge amount, and it's still growing to date. If I go to Meraki Corp, which is basically our organization's dashboard, you can see all the networks that we have set up here for each single office in the world. So let me go to the San Francisco office. And mind you, I'm sitting in the Netherlands from the comfort of my own home. I'm now accessing this dashboard and the network in San Francisco. And as you can see, on the left-hand side, you see all the products that are deployed in our office in San Francisco. And I've been giving a health update over here with what's happening currently with my access point switches, one appliances, and so on and so on. Well, if I go to my cameras, I will also get a health update over there. So here I see then, for instance, which cameras are offline, which ones alerting, which ones are online, and which ones are dormant. The ones that are dormant are cameras that have not been transmitting any data within the last, let's say, 2 weeks. So if I click on these ones and I would go, for instance, to this camera over here, and I want to find out what's happening, I just go to network, and under network you see then a message that says unreachable for 3 months and how to resolve this error. So it's really easy to troubleshoot, right? So if I click on this blue hyperlink over here, I'm being led to a page like this where you can then see how you can troubleshoot the camera that is in a sleeping mode. But you can also ping the camera, you can run the LEDs to see if the camera is still working, you can trace route the system, so you can then retrace your steps and find out where in the whole process the camera basically is encountering a problem. And you can also create a technical help case if you want to, so that you come in contact with our technical support team. So it's really easy to troubleshoot when something is happening. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you guys is how easy it is to see in one single overview what's happening in real time in various areas. So we've established and created a numerous amount of video walls, and you can create as many as you want. And each time if you create a video wall, you can add up to 16 camera views. Okay, so you can add up to 16 cameras with each their own view into this wall over here. And what it does is basically give me a very clear overview on what's happening in the bike room in real time. So this is a live stream, actually. I can look at the stairwell to see what's happening over there. I can also look at the outside terrace if I want to, the 5th floor coffee bar, etc., etc. And here you see then that basically the area is still is not in use at the moment, because currently it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning over there in San Francisco. Now, let me show you what kind of features we have that you can use on the cameras. So let's go to this camera. Okay, and let's say that something has happened. Okay, somebody has fallen down the stairs and you need to investigate this event. What you would do then is you would conduct a motion search. Do you remember the 98 time savings in accessing and sharing the footage that I just showed you when in my PowerPoint presentation? Well, this is the reason why people noted a 98% in time savings, because the only thing you would have to do is click on the date, mention a time, and then what would happen is that the camera starts looking for that particular footage. Now, you can scroll downstairs then, and then here in motion recap images, you see all the motion summarized into one single image. And that's what a motion recap image is. You can play the video if you want to as well, or you can download it and you can export it. any export happens in an MP4 file, so you're able to export it and keep it in the dashboard. It will stay there then for up to a year without the file being lost. So you can keep then any kind of exports in your dashboard up to a year. And if you want to share the footage, you can do that by just sharing over here. You can share the link internally, or you can share a live stream link externally, and then again, you can export it, etc. You can also do a screenshot, whatever you want. Basically, anything is possible. And then if you look here, you see these orange blocks, right? These orange blocks signal movement. So this is also another way how we make it really easy for you to see like, oh, okay, here's movement taking place. Or here, oh, here, movement is taking place. Anytime you see an orange block, you know that the camera has noted a certain type of movement. Now, other types of analytics that we offer you are area configuration. So you know that we do people counting really well. All of our cameras are able to detect people, vehicles, sirens, alarms, audio, etc., etc. And one of the things when it comes to analytics that we do really well is people counting. And the way how you can do people counting or object counting in this case is by, for instance, drawing a line, basically a rectangular line over here, and then select if you want for the camera to be able to count the number of people who are dwelling on the stairs for longer than 5 seconds. And then what would happen is then that the camera will start counting the number of people that are on that particular area on the stairs for longer than 5 seconds. And then here you see that data. So you see then that the busiest time in that particular area is from 12 to 1, that over 130 people are in that particular area between this time frame, and that the total number of people crossing the stairs between the 4th of July and the 11th of July is is over 1,030 people. And the reason why these numbers are important is because you can use it to help you optimize the spaces. So let's say that your stairways has a certain amount of capacity that they can hold, and you have other stairs that nobody is using. Based on this data, you can then now say like, hey, I've seen that the busiest time that the stairs is being used is this between this and this hour. Let's start redirecting people to other staircases, because that way we prevent any kind of traffic jams or any kind of incidents on the stairway, so we can actually help them to optimize the spaces over there. So this is how we can help you then. We also provide you with heat maps, and heat maps are basically maps that we have created that signal where a lot of motion has taken place. And as you can see, you know, the redder an area, the more motion has been detected in that particular area. Last but not least, another analytical feature that we provide is line crossing. And this is, for instance, really interesting because let's say that you have a room and you want to be able to count how many people are using that particular room, right? What you can do then is basically draw a line over here, and then the camera sensor starts counting the number of people that are going up the stairs. And you will get this data then, where you then also, again, have more insights into when the busiest times are and what the total count is. So it will also, again, help you to optimize your spaces, and maybe also help you to optimize the way how you manage your the people that are managing that space. So let's say we're talking about a store and you've implemented the line crossing feature at the store. You see that these are the busiest times. That you can say like, okay, during the busiest times, I want to have like over 3 employees or representatives manning the cashiers, manning the store, and then towards the end of the evening, they can basically go home because not a lot of people are then in the store. So you can use it basically for these types of events, I would say. Now, it's really easy to actually manage and to configure these cameras. So as you can see, you can rotate the camera, you can add a privacy window. So you're then drawing basically, essentially what you're doing is then you're adding a black box over this particular image, and then that area will never be recorded. You can enable the RTSP. So let's say that you want your data still to be backed up to your own local servers, then you just enable the RTSP, and then you can redirect all the data back to your own local servers where it's then being stored. You can play with the quality and retention. As I already told you, each camera comes with its own storage capability. And yeah, a good thing is obviously that you can determine for yourself how much storage capacity you need based on the settings of the video resolution, based on the settings that you choose for the video quality, etc., etc. And then last but not least, the motion alert. So this is basically where you schedule the alerts for yourself. And we send out alerts via SMS, text message, email notification, or push notification, or via webhook. That's also a possibility. And what then happens is that every time you receive an alert, a motion recap image is then being sent to you via email or SMS, for instance, and then you see immediately what's happening every single time you receive an alert. Given the fact that we only have 10 minutes more, I will end my demo over here, but please feel free to let me know if you're interested to receive a more in-depth demonstration of ours. We can also provide you, together with our partner Trust Systems, with free trials for 30 days. So you can test our cameras and our sensors for 30 days for free, or longer if you need to. And yeah, our partner Trust can then help you organize it. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day. And Mark, back over to you.
Thanks very much for that. That was really good. I particularly liked the motion sensor capture images from the cameras. That was excellent. So I'm just going to share my screen just here for us. One thing that we can integrate with Trust Systems, obviously, is Cisco Meraki cameras and IoT sensors. Now, we can wrap this up in a full package for yourselves here at Trust. We can have protection from cybersecurity, and we can have cloud maintenance for your storage, and also we can implement networks within your BMS systems as well. With the Cisco Meraki products, we can wrap everything into one managed service provided from ourselves here at Trust. One company that we do work with is Eon Control Solutions. Now, with Eon, we've got a portfolio of them that houses lots of different types of buildings, from skyscrapers in the City of London to shopping centres up in Scotland. So we look after BMS systems utilising our network of products to make sure everything's running well for them. So coming to the end of this, I know we don't have massive amounts of time, so any quick questions for the Q&A?
So I see a question. So the question is, can the building management systems Trust be used across multiple sites? So can the building management systems, you as Trust partners, be used across multiple sites?
So the building management systems are scalable. So what will happen is they can be set to go across different multiple sites, and also they can set up different locations within the same building. So if you've got HR, or you've got sort of sales and different options, we can set it up to different segments within one building for you to look after the BMS settings.
Yeah. And do you know what's going to shape the building management systems the most over the next decade?
It's going to have to be ESG. Everyone's looking after their carbon footprint, so that's definitely going to be a big step. And obviously, with the products that you implement in terms of your sensors and the reduction of energy used for your cameras, it's definitely something that's going to work well for us in the future.
Okay, perfect.
I think we'll probably just wrap it up at that, just judging by the time and so on. But I just want to say thanks very much for your time. It was great to meet you, and thank you for the information. It was really good.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day. And thank you so much, Mark, for the amazing presentation as well. Cheers. And for having me over. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day, everybody. Cheers. Bye.